Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Breath of Fiction. My name is Radical, otherwise known as Stress Desserts, and today I'm joined by everyone who you've come to know and love through our recordings, plus a very special guest. Would our guests like to introduce themselves?
They're gonna say some cursed shit in this game.
Okay, so I'll introduce it for her then. So this is everyone. Say hello to, what is this? Flaming Trisexual, otherwise known as Red Spider Lily, and pay no attention to the fact that she's currently playing Terraria on her screen. But in any event, would everyone else who are regulars like to introduce themselves?
Dan, also known as DCC Rules.
It's Snacked, otherwise known as Gajima Bro.
And this is Sparta 789.
All right, guys. So, what are we doing today? Snack?
You know, Lily's been begging us to be on the podcast, and then the first time we let her on, she's playing Terraria.
Yeah, I'm capturing all the glory of said Terraria's playing, and it doesn't matter that the chat is saying some weird shit because apparently our recordings always go into that range, so it's perfectly normal.
Yeah.
Are we ever on track? We haven't even mentioned what we're doing this week.
Well, I did ask, and then you went to Lily's Terraria thing. What are we doing, Snack?
Well, so we're doing a little bit different of a thing. So I came up with a Golden Kamuy AU, but instead of Demon Slayer in Golden Kamuy, I was thinking, well, there are Demon Slayers during the timeline of Golden Kamuy, right? So what if we did instead Golden Kamuy?
Pause. Yeah. What is Golden Kamuy for all those who don't know?
So Golden Kamuy is a historical drama adventure by Noda Satoru, following the treasure hunt for the mysterious Ainu gold in Hokkaido and Russia. Basically, it's Indiana Jones with more messed up psychological shit.
And I might add, it's set in the aftermath of the Russo-Japanese War from 1904 to 1905. A time period which is very rare to find in that war. Well, Masahiro had fortunately had to, so yes.
Yeah, DCC?
But anyways, that's the time period we're working with, and as Sneck said, because technically Demon Slayer takes place in Kaisho, and Kaisho takes place from 1912 to 1926, that means that Golden Kamuy, in terms of historical timeline, can take place in Demon Slayer, while Demon Slayer is occurring if they were in the same universe, which is what Sneck is trying to work with here. So, please introduce it.
Alright, so instead of the main plot being our characters finding gold, I was thinking main character, the Golden Kamuy characters in a Demon Slayer universe, and who they would be, what powers would they have, who would be a demon, who would be a human. So this is going to be kind of a challenge because, as we know, there are tons of factions and people working independently, so most likely we're going to get a lot of rogue slayers, demon slayers who might switch between helping humans and helping demons. And maybe even a little bit of a challenge on who the demons are gonna be even. Because as you know in Golden Kamuy, other than maybe a Sherpa, Osoma, and Chikapasi, everyone else is very morally gray. So it'll be a fun adventure to find out. Okay, so...
Can I make a suggestion real quick? Because I had a thought. In Golden Kamuy, they're looking for this gold. But in Demon Slayer, what is the most sought after thing?
Blue Spider Lily.
Muzan's head.
So what if... Well, that too. So what if there was an Ainu who found the Blue Spider Lily? But they tried to hide it. So they coded the information, and a series of slayers had it tattooed onto their back.
And
I will say, this introduces an idea based on, or rather, it reminds me of an idea. So apparently, in Ainu culture, they have nature spirits. similar to what you find in like Shintoism and animism in general.
Yeah.
However,
Kamui.
there's a story about Kamui. There's a story about how there is a sacred lake which no one is allowed to go near and look upon because apparently it will take your soul or something, you know? So while they know where to go in ancient times, they would never go to look at it, you know, or less. And it's supposed to be hidden deep within the mountains of Hokkaido at this point. So, what if we introduce that and say, like, because the Ainu themselves found it, and they could have hidden it in this secret place, and because the Ainu were independent of the Demon Slayers in general, maybe the Demon Slayers are searching for them as well.
Makes sense, but like searching for the Ainu or the location, because
The
it's
location,
not like the Ainu are.
no, it would be more like the location. I would assume,
Yeah.
like, I would assume that the way I was thinking about it is, if an Ainu person knew where the Blue Spider Lily was and hid it because it was in a sacred place, and then they would, in theory, both the demons and the Demon Slayers would want to know about it more than anything.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Also, okay, I will give a spoiler warning, guys. This will get into some pretty important plot points in Golden Kamuy.
Yeah.
So, stop here if you don't want to be spoiled. Okay.
But we're not going to spoil Demon Slayer, right? We're not going to talk about how
No. We're not going to spoil.
Everyone dies. You know, all your favorite characters die in Demon Slayer. We're not going to talk about that, right?
I'm not going to talk about how Demon Slayer is just a lucid dream by a guy by one day.
Okay. Okay, yeah, we have this lake, it has the blue spider lily, people are trying to find it, both demons and demon slayers. I was thinking, should we have a main demon slayer core and like rogue demon slayers, or should we have different demon slaying factions?
I mean,
I feel like the 7th division, because they're the 7th division, it makes most sense for them to be the core demon slayers, probably, right?
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, so let me think. 7th division. Okay, so the Imperial. For those of you who aren't aware, the Imperial Japanese Army back in the day used to have divisions, and they were based out of certain places based on the Prussian model. The 1st division, because it's first, was based out of Tokyo, whereas the other ones, like the 3rd one, was based up in Sendai, northern Japan. The 7th division, which is called their division, was based out of Hokkaido, Sapporo, its capital. So, are we saying that Demon Slayers moved north?
I probably think they have like. Okay, so what I'm thinking is the 7th Division broke away, like attempted rebellion against the central government, right? So now what I'm thinking is a like Japan-wide Demon Slayer Corps, but a division of the Demon Slayer Corps in Hokkaido is trying to seize the Blue Spider Lily for themselves. And maybe because of like conflict within the Corps and like power struggles, this faction broke away.
The only thing that I would say, for continuity's sake, we need to be careful of is that in the canon manga, there is no Demon Slayer Corps anywhere outside around the areas of Tokyo. So while you could, in theory, find Demon Slayers in other prefectures like Shizuoka, Gunma, that kind of thing, like within a general area around Tokyo, because apparently that's where Muzan concentrated his demons, we'd have to say that the demons shifted north if they're going to search for Ainu.
Okay, fair.
But we can also justify that with what we already talked about. Because we see in Golden Kamuy that people moved to Hokkaido for the promise of the gold.
Yeah.
So we could say the demons moved to north, and the Slayers followed because of the legends of the Blue Spider Lily being up there.
Yes, okay.
You know what this means now. Bergman's rule is in effect, so now everyone gets bigger. For those of you who don't know, Bergman's rule is an idea that the more north or south, basically closer to the poles and colder climate you get, the bigger animals you'll see. Like if you look at penguins, like the big emperor penguins, those are near Antarctica. But when you go towards like South America, you start getting progressively smaller and smaller penguins that do exist. So like that's my point here. But hey, that means we might have an even taller Gyomei. Who knows? Like Gyomei's 8 foot tall instead of 7'2".
Absolute unit.
I mean, I guess the tallest we would get in this case is Ushiyama. I mean, yeah, but isn't Gyomei like his physiologically being taller would be disadvantageous for him?
Well, I mean, Bergman's rule states that you have to be bigger. So, I mean, in theory, in theory, being bigger would be better in this case.
Yeah, but even okay, fair. So the Demon Slayers move up north. Okay, so are we gonna say Tsurumi is the leader of the Corps?
I mean, if you want to say he went rogue, then yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I feel like he'd be very much like Masahiro.
Yeah, I feel
like
Tsurumi
is a little. Honestly, I would normally I would agree, but Tsurumi is a little bit too callous, more than anything.
Well, I don't mean personality-wise. I mean
action.
Like what he represents. You mean?
Well,
essentially.
Yeah. So I think he gets fed up with like the main forms a faction group.
He formed his own organization, more or less.
Yeah, he forms his own organization, possibly because he thinks that the Demon Slayers, the Corps is like ineffective or something, and he forms his own faction. And for the main Corps, I don't know if we still want to have the Ubiyashikis, but
I mean, there's no reason not to.
Yeah, so the main Corps has an Ubiyashiki stationed, and the faction Corps is formed by
the 7th Division.
Yeah, the 7th Division. The Ubiyashikis, I think we could like they're leaders and they have foresight, but I think we could like have them have right-hand men. So the Ubiyashiki's right-hand man, I think, would be Wilk, like before the storyline starts, and then it would be Wilk. Wilk is okay. So the main female character is Sirpa. She is a Polish Ainu girl, and her father.
She's a quarter Polish.
Quarter Polish. Her father is Wilk, who is a Polish Ainu man. He is half Polish. That's why he has blue eyes, by the way. And his name Wilk means wolf in Polish. So Wilk is the man who got arrested and was the one who distributed the tattoos on people's skins. And
I knew it.
Yeah.
It was kind of hinted at, honestly.
Spoiler. ECC, do you mind if I spoil?
No, go ahead. I'm gonna try and catch up anyway.
Alright, Wilk gets shot later in the story by none other than our favorite asshole.
He also assassinated the Prince of Russia.
Yeah, he was part of the Golden Hand, which was it was a revolutionary group in Russia, back in Alexander II's reign, and they assassinated the emperor.
They assassinated the Tsar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, emperor too, because Russia was an empire at that time.
No, but the term is Tsar, though. No, that's the Tsar means emperor, though, in Russian. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, so like basically. So I was thinking in this case, because Wilk is an important figure, and he passed sort of his message to Hijikata. In the current timeline, I was thinking Wilk was the Ubiyashiki right-hand man at first, and then Hijikata was the right-hand man after Wilk went missing for some reason. And
so are we discounting the Boshin War and his arrest then? So I mean, the reason I'm asking is because Hijikata was arrested because of his activities during the Boshin War and then the Battle of Aizu.
Yeah.
So are we saying that he joined the Demon Slayers after the Shinsengumi was disbanded and before the Battle of Aizu?
I think like the current timeline in GK is after the Boshin War, right?
No,
So
it is.
I think yeah, so I think after he was, liberated, he joined the Corps because I mean, although you would say like, well, he's an old man, how can he do that? He's actually pretty strong in the story, and he doesn't only use a sword, he uses firearms too. So he could probably still fight even with like, sword and firearms. So I would say he joined after he was liberated, and the one who got him out was Wilk or the Ubiyashiki or even both.
So Wilk was in prison then? Because Wilk was in prison, though. You know that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I was thinking before he was imprisoned,
Mm.
he was in the Corps, and then he was imprisoned, which is why Hijikata
And
had to
even the
step in.
Ubiyashikis couldn't flex their connections to get him out.
They couldn't get him out, and they didn't know of his whereabouts. They only had like a premonition that he was in some prison in Abashiri. They had a premonition he was in Abashiri. And regarding this, I want to add another like interesting plot point. So Kiraranka, Wilk's former brother-in-arms, who made the plan to kill him, because he temporarily took over the forefront of the gold search by taking a Sherpa away. I want him to sort of kind of be a temporary kind of right-hand man after Wilk dies.
Wilk's not dead, though.
Well, he's not in he's not in prison, but he dies later. And okay, never mind.
I'm a bit confused. I'm a bit confused by what you're saying.
Okay, so
What I'm trying to say is Wilk is the right-hand man.
No, I get that. I get that. But what in
they don't
in
really
the story
remove him from his position. But after he passes away, which he wants to maintain in the story, then someone else temporarily takes up his stead.
No, but Snecht is saying that Wilk is in prison, and then he becomes Ichikawa becomes the right hand man. But the thing is that in Golden Kamuy, Wilk isn't dead. He's still stuck in the prison.
Oh yeah, I'm just saying he's in prison. Hijikata becomes the right-hand man. They get wind of Wilk and Abashiri. Hijikata goes to break him out. The same thing happens. Wilk dies at Abashiri, and Hijikata gets scattered. And for a few months, they don't know where he is. And Kiraranka comes back, and he's the one getting the Corps to direct the gold search until he gets either killed or exposed, and gets usurped, and then Hijikata comes back, right-hand man.
Okay, I see what you mean now.
Yeah.
So this will take place after Ogata kills him, so to speak.
Yeah, this will take place after Ogata kills him.
All right.
So I think that's our general structure.
I had a thought I've been sitting on. Can I share it?
Yep.
So one thing we mentioned would be that Tsurumi would be leading a rogue team of slayers. And I think, what exactly kind of end goal could they have to go search for the blue spider lily, and essentially go rogue like this? And I had a thought for you guys. What if Tsurumi thinks that the Ubiyashikis are essentially too weak and placid?
Exactly. That's what I'm...
Rather than playing the slow game, he wants to draw Muzan out and kill him.
Yeah.
So he wants to use Spider Lily and use it as bait to kill Muzan.
Exactly. Oh, that is actually a good idea. I think this is the kind of insane thinking that he would do too. Like, he's like, why are you like spending so many men's lives being slow and strategic like this. We got to do something drastic, and that's what Tsurumi does a lot. Like he has these crazy plans, but they work. Faking Koito's kidnapping,
Why put
killing
out the fire when you
Hanazawa.
can't get the match, or rather
Yeah,
get the lighter?
exactly.
That's what he would do. So he's like, I want to get I want to get the lighter, so to speak.
Yep.
Even if it means sacrificing a bunch of kindling burnt to slayers
Exactly.
in this case.
Exactly. So okay. Apart from that, I want to get to maybe our main cast. So obviously Sugimoto. He could come back from the war, and I think like he could actually go into the core with the promise of like a Hashira salary, because like if he gets a Hashira salary, he can cure Umiko's illness.
There's a bunch.
So,
Like, I mean, Hashira get paid how much ever they want in canon. So
yeah, so he could like get Umiko to the United States and pay for her healthcare, which I think would be a good like incentive for him to try to become a Hashira. I also think Sugimoto might be a demon eater, which goes well with his like
with his
metabolism. Exactly, with his like immortal Sugimoto thing. Else, but he's all like, would he use breaths? Are we gonna give him breaths?
So, what if we have a few multiple things? One thing that I thought of that is kind of funny is, what if he learns demon eating from a Sherpa?
Yeah.
Because one thing we see a lot in Golden Kamuy is just him begrudgingly eating things that she prepares for him. I feel like that would be a great pullover. Like, okay, this is how we prepare demon.
So we're saying that demons are not like in canon then, because then we're just getting rid of them entirely and making them something else. Because normally demon flesh would be gone after the sun or something.
I mean, they could like, yeah. I mean, they could trap a demon without killing it. So, like maybe pin a demon down and have Sugimoto like roast an arm. Which is a little sadistic, like make cheetah top. Which is a little sadistic, I'll admit, but
I'm
for
just imagining now in a cage, while a Sherpa is like sitting by the fire, like sit a tap.
Yeah. Like Hina, and the demon's like, my arm. It's a bit dark, but it fits with Golden Kamuy's, like, I guess. Like, okay, she did cut a mole of fish while it was still alive. She took its meat off when it was still alive, okay? This is not too dark for Golden Kamuy.
Listen, if she EKG made it, then it's perfectly okay. If you know what that is.
No, she didn't. Exactly. She just got on top of the fish and started cutting its flesh off while it was alive.
Oh, you mean that part? Oh, you mean that part of the manga? Okay.
Mole of fish, yeah.
That okay? I understand now.
So yeah, so for like the dark humor, yeah, that's gotta happen. Asirpa, I think maybe she's another demon eater. Maybe Wilk was a demon eater even.
So just to establish, just one more establish. It means that the demons that we're going to be using this AU are going to be slightly more. How do I say this? Less. They're going to be. It's going to be less about cutting them off, like cutting body parts off, and then they just degenerate. And in the sunlight, you can actually. They're more like closer to stabilized humans' flesh. So
yeah. For the cooking sake, so I think. So for the murder of the 7 Ainu mystery, I was wondering, what if it's 7 Hashira instead? Like 7 Ainu who were like Hashira and they were mysteriously killed.
The Hokkaido Hashira.
Yeah, the Hokkaido Hashira murder incident. And Wilk was also a Hashira, of course.
Wait, I forget. Was he part of, was it 7 and then 7 plus 1? I thought, was Wilk counted among the 7, or was it just Wilk and 7 other people?
He was probably mentioned among the 7 early on, because they do, like, early manga at least, they do say that Asirpa's father was killed in the group.
Yeah.
It may be one of those things where they kind of...
Well, I'm going to look this up just to be safe.
So it turns out, like, I think it was 7, but Wilk's head was among the quote-unquote 7, but later it turns out that was just Wilk cutting his own face off and putting it on a head to throw Terumi off. Although we can't, like, really believe Terumi's story because he's Terumi. But he was right about Tsukishima's girlfriend, so I don't know what to believe. This man is too much for me. Yeah, but anyways, a few Hashira were killed in a high-profile incident. Wilk was suspected, but like for reasons he got shipped to Abashiri.
Well, I mean,
It's
if it's a murder, then we could just say.
Yeah, of course he got arrested. So Asirpa's a demon eater too. Just for like or she's not. I don't know.
Just a quick thought. What if Wilk killed the other Hashira because he learned that they were going to rebel with Surumi? And
I mean, that's okay. So that's a good thought. It's. I don't think.
But then
it's
why
canon
would But then he would hide. But then in regards to making the tattoos after getting imprisoned and hiding it and not telling Ichikata when he gets to rescue it, that provides a little bit of a plot hole, though.
What happened in canon, according to Tsurumi, was that Tsurumi sowed like doubt into the Hashira, not the Hashira, the Ainu about Wilk's plans. And then like there was a confrontation among the group, and the group killed themselves, the ones who were accusing Wilk versus the ones who were defending Wilk.
Okay. So then it's the same thing but like slightly different?
Yeah, so Tsurumi meets up with the Hashira before he defected and planted some like seeds of doubt into that Hashira, and the Hashira just goes to the other Hashira at a gathering, accuses Wilk of not like not accuses Wilk of something. We don't need to know what, because we could think of that later. But Hashira, like a few Hashira are defending him, and the whole encounter gets heated. They pull out their swords, and a fight ensues. Wilk runs off, but he leaves his head on one of the Hashira, like not his head, his face, and then he escapes. And Tsurumi like catches up to him, and he ends up in prison. In the original story, he was shot and escaped into a work camp, which I assume led him to like go to Abashiri. So yeah, that happened. And Asirpa is like, yeah, so she's the kid of a Hashira who has a bit of a sullied name. I was thinking she could be an insect breather, but instead of like Nichiren blades, she would use like arrows with wisteria poison.
I see.
Breath of the wolf.
Yeah, Breath of the Wolf.
Because Retar.
Yeah, Retar. Yeah, he is.
Every time I see that name, my brain is just like, just add a D, just add a goddamn D.
Oh my
No,
god!
no.
Oh no!
Breath of the lizard that spits blood out of his eyes. Let's go.
Breath of the praying mantis. Eventually, all the heads get cut off and eaten.
Asirpa, so she starts out as Breath of the... Oh my god. So she starts out as a Breath of the Insect user. She switches to Breath of, like, she makes a new breath called Breath of the Wolf because she uses, like, arrows, wolf fangs. Also has multiple fangs,
Well, if we go based off of how they talk about wolves in that one chapter with the bear hunter, we could say that she names after the Breath of the Wolf partially because of Retar and also partially because of the wolf ideology, which is controlling your area.
Yeah.
When a wolf knows you, it will track you. You don't track the wolf. She is a tracker. Lives like the wolf. She embodies the wolf.
She is a tracker, a trapper, and a very skilled hunter. So she is the wolf.
I was half hoping you'd turn that into a rap.
Nah. Okay, so we have those two. The third one I want to talk about is Shiraishi.
Sure.
He, yeah. I was thinking because his personality is similar to Zenitsu. He could be a Breath of Thunder user. He's very or a Breath of Love user because he's very flexible.
Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
like he's flexible. Is that? I was
Yeah,
almost thinking, what if we gave him like a Breath of the Eel or something? You know, like something that fits him. Ooh, Breath of Snake even. Breath of Snake or Breath of Love would probably fit him very well.
I think Breath of Love is like I would want him to be a Breath of Love user only because like he refers to people affectionately, and he's like this very like I think warm dude, so I think Breath of Love would be pretty good for him. He like demons can't believe how flexible he is. They're like, I can't believe like this human's doing that. That's fucked up. Okay, so Sugimoto wants to become a hunter to help Umeko. Asirpa wants to investigate the murders. Shiraishi hangs out with them.
Shiraishi just wants to survive. He got mixed up into this stuff.
Exactly.
He's like, because I was told I was supposed to because I was supposed to become a slayer, but now people want to fucking kill me. All I'm good at is escaping. I don't know how to fight a demon.
And Sugimoto, I think his breath would be either wind or beast, because he's got a very berserker type fighting style. He's also very like clever at times, so I would probably give him like Breath of the Beast. And he has like as for other people, next character I want to get to is one of like our favorite asshole Ogata. I actually had a bunch. I was wondering about like what I should make him. Since he is a sniper, he's not good at like hand-to-hand combat. So I had a few choices. One, Breath of the Insect. He wouldn't have to use a lot of physical strength. Two, Breath of not no breath, but a Demon Eater. But I thought like too similar to Genya. But I did plan to make him a mostly sniper, so he would use Nichiren bullets instead of a blade most of the time. But two of the breaths that I actually thought about a lot were Breath of the Mist and Breath of the Moon. So Breath of the Mist, because, he's a sniper, Mist would allow him to kind of control the area, confuse his opponents, and, like, get a good shot. Yeah, be hidden. Breath of the Moon, for thematic reasons, mostly because, as we know, if you guys know Ogata, he killed his brother, because he saw his brother as like blessed and loved by his parents, while he was like a bastard who was like ignored. So I was thinking like Yusaku could have been a sun breather. Ogata might be a moon breather, but instead of a katana, he uses a wakizashi. Just for the thematic element. I was not thinking about how it would complement his fighting style. But now that I think of it, I think Breath of the Mist is the best fighting style for him, but he rarely
I will
uses
say, a wakizashi is a smaller weapon, and if your main focus is sniping, you don't necessarily want to be swinging around a large sword. Having, a more quarters, smaller blade actually doesn't make sense for your defense.
Yeah.
Because
Indoors,
trying to have a close,
samurai
like a mid-range
not,
engagement.
now, believe it or not, when the samurai were using their swords indoors, they actually had a special one because the normal katana is too long in a normal Japanese house. So it would make sense if they had something like that.
Yeah, and Ogata usually, when he has to fight up close, tends to use a shorter sword. So yeah, Wakizashi. So I would say he's a rogue slayer. He was with Tsurumi's faction, and then he went over to the central Demon Slayer Corps, and then he after some shenanigans with Kiranka, he's like switching. He constantly switches loyalties. At times he does go rogue. And there is I actually wanted to make Vasily a demon slayer too. I know that doesn't make sense, but
I
I
mean,
was
he's been
thinking
Hokkaido, so he, in theory, he could have gotten, he could have met somebody and gotten introduced to it.
Yeah. So I was thinking Vasily and Ogata had like a feud, where Ogata like shot him through the mouth, and then like now they're just like they have bad blood. So the Ubiyashiki make sure not to send them together on missions, because they will kill each other. Vasily is mute, has muteness after that encounter, but he communicates with sign language, and he's also very skilled.
I knew
So
Fukuro was inspired by somebody from the manga. I just forgot about Vasily for some reason.
Wait, you inspired him off of Vasily? That's so awesome.
Well, partially.
Vasily's-
I mean, Fukuro doesn't exactly speak because one of his trauma, and also his throat got burnt from an accident.
Yeah.
It's partial. But go on.
Yeah. So Vasily he is a character that's dear to my heart. I just have a soft spot for snipers. Vasily, like Ogata, usually
Half-cock.
uses yes. Vasily, aka Vasily Zaitsev / Samohaya, like Ogata, aka
What?
Hathcock. So by the way, Ogata is based off of Carlos Hathcock partially. Vasily uses a Nichiren gun most of the time. Like Ogata, he's not very good in close combat. I was thinking he would use a breath. Like he is physically fit enough to use breaths. I was not sure what breath he would use. I thought of lightning. Not lightning, thunder. Thunder. I'm dumb. My brain.
I mean, you could say they made. I mean, thunder itself is the affect the sound. So in theory, you could say that they made a derivative called breath of lightning, where you basically because the lightning arcs and shoots towards things and actually hits things. So you could say that if you wanted.
Yeah. So yeah, Vasily, I think would start off as a breath of thunder user. As we've seen with Zenitsu and Uzui, Breath of Thunder and its derivatives have users that tend to be like, have like some talent in the fine arts. And for example, Zenitsu is very good at instruments. Uzui is an art teacher in the Kimigaku. Vasily is an artist. So that's why I thought Breath of Thunder. He also can get very excited at times, even though he's cool-headed most of the time. So I was thinking, yeah, he would be a Breath of Thunder user. After he weakens the demons with Nichiren bullets, he can go into like cut off its head.
Or if he gets a good shot, he
uses
right
mini
through there.
balls. He uses the mini balls of the Civil War to
Yeah.
block themselves in.
Yes. He on one mission, he and Ogata got in a sniper duel, and he got his like mouth blown through. Because even though they're demon slayers, they see each other as rivals first. Yeah. So
why am I now picturing them as like a Thanatos Zagreus pair from Hades.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't play
In
video
canon-
games. How do you know what we're talking about?
Oh, I've seen the fandom before, but yeah, Vasily in canon.
She's seen the fan art. Oh no.
Vasily in canon, very like he and Ogata like take the sniper lifestyle very seriously. If you do not finish off your enemy, you have to continue your fight until one of you like dies. So yeah. So yeah,
First one
like
not to
they
kill
don't
everyone's a bitch. Go.
exactly. They don't regard the Demon Slayer core rules against killing each other, and people know better than to like get in their way because
Senchu, is
It's
that
like
Okay.
it's like Inosuke and Tanjiro meeting.
Exactly. It's an Osuke and Tanjiro, but think about like to a lethal degree.
Senchu, is that you? I see.
Yes, his Senchu.
Ah, nice.
I would say Ogata
Senchu
his
doesn't have rivalries. If you can rival his Senchu, he's
No,
going to
I was
fucking-
referring to the fact that he kills people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yes. He
you
kills
wanna
them
kill-
a lot.
Want to kill each other. Okay. Who else? Okay, I want to talk about some of the 7th Division lads because they're also very important. Tsurumi. Obviously he's the leader. I don't know what breath he uses.
A demon cut off his face, so he has to wear the metal
Yeah, a
plate on
demon.
his-
He wears the metal
I was gonna
plate.
say, what if like a demon tried to bite his head and just like took a chunk out of his head?
Exactly. So
It was demon
this-
injury, either way.
yeah, so Tsukishima was fighting against the demon. Tsurumi goes and blocks the bite and gets his head torn off. I think Tsurumi could honestly make a derivative out of the breath of water.
Do we want to think that maybe, just maybe, when the demon bit off part of his head, it bit off part of his frontal cortex and made him a bit more
Yeah, exactly.
open to rebelling, and the reason why he pulled the trigger is
Don't they
because
kind of hint at that in Golden
Yeah,
Kamuy?
exactly.
they do.
Exactly.
Well, what they
Crazy is
kind of
because-
hint at is, well, the thing is that what they hint at is it definitely they definitely breached the part of the cranium, but they didn't exactly say he had brain
exactly.
damage, because considering his backstory, it is understandable even with a normal, like, an intact brain, he would be that kind of
Yeah.
radical. So backstory wise, I would say it's not entirely certain, but even so, in this we could say that the demon, it did actually get to his brain, not just necessarily the cranium. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yummy brains. But no, I could think to myself, Tsurumi should be the other guy in the way, the judo guy, because his head, yeah, good luck fighting his.
Oh my god!
Took a katana to the face.
Tsurumi, I think,
Tsurumi defended the guy, and then the guy's like, "Why did you defend me? My skull is thick. It wouldn't have mattered." And then Tsurumi's like, "Oops."
Yeah, I think
am a leader. It is what I must do.
Tsurumi is a former Hashira. He's the dude who actually got the 7 to kill themselves. He is a bit more radical. I was thinking of making him like, well, he's erratic and but he's erratic. He's manipulative. Breath of Flame user.
I was thinking Breath of Flames honestly feels kind of like his thing.
Yeah, he could be like a Breath of Flame user.
Very outgoing, very passionate, very loud.
Exactly. That's perfect. He is a very strong flame Hashira. And
kind of like Rengoku, he seems like the kind of person who, yes, he throws his men's lives away at times, but he also feels like the kind of person who values them and would throw
exactly
in the line of fire.
The second person I want to talk about is, of course, his superior private right-hand man, Usami. Usami is a bit messed up, but he is very
Since
strong,
when is
very
people
good
in
at.
Golden Kamuy not messed up?
True.
I mean, yeah, but okay. So I
Like
was
people
thinking,
look at Demon Slayer and they're like, "Wow, these children have fucked up lives," and they look at Golden Kamuy and they're like, "What the fuck?"
these children actually have good lives.
That's
I
what
was
I
thinking
did
because
in Rogue, because Masahiro is a war veteran of 2 wars, including this one.
Usami's, yeah.
Keep going, keep going.
Sorry, Usami's physically strong. So I was thinking Breath of Stone, which is surprising
Usami's stronger
because
than Gyomei, confirmed.
no, well, Usami's actually one of the heavy hitters. He was able to take out multiple armed criminals with his bare hands. So I was thinking Breath of Stone just because he's a very good close-up combatant. And he's brutal, he's fast.
He
Oh,
has
actually,
2 tattoos of Running Man on him.
Exactly. Or Breath of Wind. I don't know which.
I feel like
think
his
Breath-
strength is Breath of Stone, but his personality is Breath of Wind. Because he's got the crazy
Yeah.
eyes.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
think
about that,
I'll be-
DCC. You say Demon Slayer greater than Golden Kamuy and greater than Attack on Titan, greater than Berserk on the trauma scale. I would argue against that.
Well, Demon Slayer is the least traumatic, but it's very traumatic, and they get more
Oh,
traumatic
I thought
from there.
those were
Maybe-
greater than signs. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, are you
I
saying
was-
Demon Slayer is greater than Golden Kamuy and Berserk of all things? Like, what the hell?
No, God, no.
Okay,
of course
good. I
Berserk-
was like concerned.
fucked
Like,
up and
are you
traumatic
saying
manga.
the world of Berserk is less traumatizing? I was like, holy shit, what is wrong with you? Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, so Usami's also super loyal, so no, actually I think Breath of Wind would be perfect. Because you know what Usami gets symbolized as? A dog. He is a dog, he's loyal, he will bite anyone that gets close to Tsurumi. And what is Tsunami also symbolized by? A dog.
I'm sorry. I just had the thought of, Tsurumi gets bit in the head, and then this other guy you're mentioning is like, "I'll bite anyone for you," and bites the demon in the head.
Yeah, he would knuckle
You take
dust the
you take
demon.
my commander's head, I take your head, and then proceeds to bite it off.
Yeah, so he's
Easy brain.
he's definitely got the Tsunami insanity, although not the Tsunami morals.
Quick question: is Usami good with women? Because apparently that's what Satoru Noda says.
Yes, no, that's it's canon that he's good with women.
All right, that's good then.
Yeah.
You still have a big ass then, because he has the juiciest one apparently.
Yes.
This is not even a joke. In actual canon Golden Kamuy, Noda has a tendency to emphasize parts of the male anatomy which he considers the best.
We have canon best butt and canon biggest,
biggest rod.
Okay then.
But so
And I'm
next
out.
person-
Bye.
Yep. Next person I want to talk about Tsukishima.
It explains why she likes Golden Kamuy and then says Gyomei should
Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Man, I'm the one who's supposed to shit on her for being thirsty, not you.
No, usually I do that when you're not here, but I'm here and I saw it, so I did it.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay.
As long as someone's doing it.
Next person I want to talk about is Tsukishima, which I think would actually be a good stone user, because he's extremely loyal, but he's not fervent. Okay, he's a bit fervent, but he's got a stern personality.
Did he
and
abandon
even
his
though
fiance again?
He didn't abandon her.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other way
thought she was
around.
dead.
Oh, I'm sorry, the other way around.
Yeah, I think she received news that he was dead, and then she married another man. But apparently, there were rumors that her father told her that he was dead, and there were rumors that she committed suicide. So he killed his dad. And then he got into this whole shebang, got made out of prison by Tsurumi, and is his right-hand man now. Well, not his right-hand man, other than
Left hand.
Usami. Left hand. He's he's strong-willed. He's quiet. He gets a bit freaky at times, but yeah. So Breath of Stone. I think seeing he's a little guy, but he's super tough. He's super buff.
Another
so
reason
I
Sneck
think
loves Golden Kamuy.
But I can see him being a Breath of Stone user. Koito. Koito should be next. Koito is a breath of he's loud, he's flexible. So I think either Breath of Love user or Breath of Sound user. I don't know, Breath of Love or Breath of Sound, guys.
I'd say
Sound.
let me think. Well, Tsukishima, what do we know about him in terms of fighting personality? We know, and then we also think about fighting ability. So
He's
I would
direct.
I would think that you could argue he is a breath of love user just because he seems a bit more close combat than the Breath of Stone, more or less.
I was
And
talking
also he
about
was
Koito.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Wait, so Koito, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah, but go on.
Yeah. But yeah, Tsukishima could also be Breath of Love, I guess, but I think he lacks the flexibility. I was talking about Koito just because Koito is very acrobatic.
Yeah, that is true. He uses Jigen Ryu. That's right.
Yeah. Or he could be yeah. So I was thinking
Wait, if being acrobatic makes you a Breath of Love user, I just had the thought to myself, would that make Yoda a Breath of Love user?
The user I am.
Hey, Lily.
Breath of Love user I
Cut
am.
out your head, I will.
Ketamine I must not use.
and he's
Talk
also
like this, I must not.
Cocaine, I must not snore.
Yeah, but yes, Breath of Love user. He's also very infatuated with Tsurumi and canon, so it would make sense. But he
Another
is
reason
growing as a
Sneck loves
person.
Golden Kamuy.
Yep. I think he would come from a line of Breath of Love users, because in canon his dad is a Navy official, so maybe his dad was a Breath of Love Hashira. And then it passed on to Koito. And I think it makes sense because Heiji is one of the I would say he's one of the better fathers of Golden Kamuy. And he loves
Good fathers
Otomoshi.
in anime? What the fuck?
Well, okay, he made his mistakes. He neglected
Okay, that sounds better.
He neglected Otonoshin for a while, but when it came to Otonoshin getting kidnapped, he just ran in there and fought two armed men for him, because he snapped out of it like
You say that
Shinjiro
like it's
did.
impressive art. All men are two armed.
Yeah. So actually, I think
guy.
Heiji could be another flame pillar. He comes from a flame pillar lineage because he does have some similarities with Shinjiro. And Otonoshin kind of branched off from Flame to do his own thing with Breath of Love. And I guess that's almost all of it.
What about Kikuta?
Kikuta. Kikuta is an agent from the Central DSC in the 7th Division. I think he would be a Breath of Water user just because he's the calm, caring type. Basically, he adopted Sugimoto and is a guidance sort of for him. So I would say Breath of Water. He also was introduced in a hot spring, with water going up his butthole and him spewing it from his mouth.
Christ.
Yeah, I don't know how that can physically happen, but he cheered up Nikaido, and he's nice.
Even Centipede
even though he's
has a lover of the movie somewhere.
he's even though he's a secret agent, he has a very nice, gentle personality. Even though he can be a ruthless fighter, so I was thinking Breath of Water, would best suit him.
Tanigaki.
Oh yeah, Tanigaki. Oh yeah, I forgot.
I based Nobuyuki off him. Just disclaimer.
Amazing. Tanigaki, I think, would be Breath of Stone.
He's
'cause
long range as well. Yeah.
Yeah, he's long range as well. Just because he's one of the largest ones. And like Yome, he looks tough, but he's a sweetheart.
Oh my goodness! I'm sorry. You
Unlike
said he's the
Yome-
largest one.
Unlike Yome, he has some semblance of a butt.
And apparently the biggest testicles. That's not even a joke. He's got the biggest one.
And yeah, he's yeah.
Welcome to Breath of Fiction, Game Board Edition.
Oh my goodness!
Mhm.
I went up to make sure that I was thinking of the right thing, and I just read what Noda describes him as. I don't think I could say it.
Yes. So he was part of the 7th Division, but then he met like another Breath of he was part of the 7th Division. He met this rogue demon slayer named Inkarmat, and they've settled down now away from the factions. And he does some rogue slaying in the mountains. Inkarmat I think she would be a Breath of Flame user, just because of her association with foxes. And yeah, so I think she could okay.
Quick question. Who's that Matagi guy that was part of the 7th Division?
That's Genjiro.
That's currently
that's Genjiro.
Tanigaki.
Tanigaki.
Yeah. So that's who we're talking about. Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
As you saw in the general chat, what
sure
I just said.
Died soon or not, because currently where I'm in the manga, a lot of people are fucking dying.
No, he's not dead. He's not dead.
He actually has one of the better endings as of now. He's a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a daughter. And I think he'll be the best dad because he's a good boy. And okay, Nikaido is the last person I want to get to. I think he's a Breath of Thunder user just because he's very reactive and kind of dramatic like Zenitsu. He's very excitable. So I would say Breath of Thunder. And I think that's everyone for the 7th Division who's major.
And the people that Surumi wouldn't have killed off or tell the commanders to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. I don't know if we want to save Hijikata's group for another time or any of the other or the convicts or anything. Or like if we want to stop here for today.
I mean, we can stop here for today. We're almost we have a few more minutes until we reach the 1 hour mark. But either way, we can probably continue this in another episode if we need to.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But in any event, so we've done the 7th Division. Those are the rogue slayers. They're a bunch of characters with trauma and a bunch of mental problems, which would put Demon Slayer to shame. Just letting you everyone know that as well. And
that's
essentially,
there's also a description of my memoir.
What?
I said, funny, that's also a description of my memoir. Enough mental trauma to put Demon Slayer to shame.
Nah, yeah, and then Berserk's memoir is enough mental trauma to bury Golden Kamuy, Demon Slayer, and Attack on Titan in the ground on 50 feet.
Combined
50 feet underground.
In the first 10 chapters.
Yeah, but in any event, so thank you everybody for joining us on the Breath of Fiction for the Golden Kamuy. From the looks of it, looks like we're going to have a second part, so stay tuned for that. But as the last time, does anyone want to mention anything? No? Lily,
anyone?
do you want to
Why
mention
didn't no one
anything?
tell me that Golden Kamuy turned into gay porn?
Everything's
Well, it's
gonna be
not
turning
gay
into gay
porn
porn
right
eventually.
now. It's more like everyone's stressed for the finale. Cause Noda's gonna pull some crazy shit. And I really hope no one else like dies.
That's what we all said about Demon Slayer, and look how that turned out. You're asking this to a
Yeah.
seinen manga, which is called Golden Kamuy.
Yeah,
no.
honestly, I
No.
was hoping like at least like Ogata would like have his realization like after what happened to Guillaume. I'm honestly scared.
But yes, in any event, what I would like to say last is it's not a surprise Sneck likes this manga.
I mean, it's like an adjacent time period. It's fun. You got guns. You got action.
You got
You
thick
got
men who you like to fantasize about.
Yes, but also you have snipers, and if
Yeah.
anything can get me hooked onto a show, it's realistic sniping.
That is true. I mean, I liked it just because it's a new thing. It's a manga, which is a time period and subject matter which we rarely see. Actually, double because we don't ever see ones based on the Ainu, and then we don't ever see ones based on the Russo-Japanese War era, which was
Yeah.
very important in Japanese history and in world history too, because it was the predecessor of World War One, and yet somehow nobody
And-
learned a thing from it for whatever reason.
It wasn't also like the first time an Asian power defeated a European power in war in the modern era.
It was, but it's also notable for being the first time that total war, at least before the inventions of World War One, was put into practice. And yet, for some reason, the Europeans and Americans who were watching the battle as military advisors didn't learn a single thing, as evidenced by World War One being a complete hellhole.
Look, they had a chance during the Crimean. They had a chance during the Boer War. They had a chance.
Yes, during
No,
the
but
American
that wasn't
Civil War.
but the Boer War, that wasn't necessarily the same thing though, as two countries going at it in
Yeah.
the ring though.
But like the Crimean was, I think the Crimean was definitely like
Closer.
a precursor, closer because it was three powers going against each other, and it was the first photographed war.
I mean, the difference between Crimea and everything, and between the Crimean War and the Russo-Japanese War is that the Crimean War didn't have machine guns, grenades, and sappers and other things that were World War One because it was too early.
Oh, but those are my favorite things about war.
Yeah, it didn't exactly have the machine guns gunning down people running at them.
Also, I will say the siege of
Call of
Vicksburg
Duty lied to me.
in the American Civil War was very trench warfare based.
Yeah, that is true. But in any event, thank you all for joining us. We hope that the chaos that is the fiction has not impeded you learning about our AU. And we also hope that you enjoyed our cameo and our guest appearance by Red Spider Lily and her playing Terraria, which you will all see on your screens. But until next time, everyone, see you later and bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Have a good night.
Bye.